Okay, I will call this meeting of the Summit Waller Community Association for July to order. And first item of business, the approval of board meeting minutes from June 1. Anything that anybody needs to add, thinks it needs to be changed, or should we go ahead and approve?
So moved.
Okay, so Larry moved. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, Gabe seconds. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the meeting minutes for our June meeting. All in favor, you can raise your hand or raise your hand reactions. Okay, passes unanimously. Good. All right. Then we have treasurer's report, but Russell's not here, so we'll have to postpone that till next month. Gabe, your report.
Yes, it's actually been, again, pretty slow. Just a couple updates that were submitted to me for the website and keeping up with the Facebook group.
Okay. And then I'm going to have to get back with the folks from the League of Women's Voters regarding the forums and see what they want us, when they want us to get something out to our members. Okay, so next item, Orange Gate Park, Larry reported 12 and a half hours in June. Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, actually, that's, I made a mistake there. That's 14 and a half hours instead
Okay.
of 12 and a half. Between Mr. Bird and myself, 14 and a half hours, mainly picking up garbage and doing some trail maintenance. I do have comments about the 4th of July weekend and its effect on the streets around Orange Gate. 46th Avenue from 80th to 84th, it was the worst I have seen in years. Not only did people last night, there were some fireworks that went off before I could drive my car around. But I have to tell you, in talking with Don Brunson, the word out now is do not talk to anybody. Do not go up and have a discussion with anybody because it's getting to be more dangerous out there. The one thing that really is irritating is that, okay, last night at just after 10 o'clock, there were multiple fireworks going off on 46th Avenue, you know, right next to the Orange Gate Woods. So I made a 911 call and the 911 person said, I said, there's fireworks going off at Orange Gate Park. That's all I was able to get in there. She said, is there a fire in progress? I said, no. So she transferred me to the non-emergency line, and it just rang and rang and rang and rang and nobody picked it up. And then in this morning's newspaper, a Sergeant Moss indicated that the Sheriff's Department was not responding to fireworks related calls unless there was some sort of a immediate emergency, which tells me that all the effort that our community association has done in the past to deal with illegal fireworks has really come to nothing, because enforcement is everything. You know, we got over a $1,200 fine associated with the firing off of illegal fireworks in unincorporated Pierce County, but the Sheriff's Department will not even respond to illegal fireworks related calls. I'm sure that the Sheriff's Department has numerous reasons as to why they're not enforcing or answering calls about illegal fireworks. But of course, people like myself and residents along, I'm sure 50th Avenue and 80th here are concerned about the lack of enforcement because those woods catch on fire. The fire department doesn't get there rather quickly. We've already had in the past a pretty good fire going on 46th Avenue in the woods. Luckily, the fire department got there quickly and put it out. But, that puts our houses and homes in pretty extreme danger. And also last night, somebody came by and threw a whole bunch of garbage on Tacoma Power property along 46. Tacoma Power crews picked that up today. So there's just a minimal amount of fireworks debris. It's that red paper stuff that's really thin and it's all over the place on both sides of the street. So probably picking that up for months going forward. Also, in the last few days, we've had major dumps along 80th and 84th going west from 46 to Waller Road. Those have not been picked up yet. I'm waiting to see if the county will respond to a phone call about picking that stuff up. But, well, there's a lot of citizens of Pierce County that are just litter pigs, and it's pretty frustrating.
Mhm. Couple of questions. Are you reporting your hours to the Parks Department, or should I be doing that?
Yeah, I'm reporting. I have a form that I send in every month. In fact, I just sent it in this morning for
Mhm.
hours that I put in and Scott Bird put in for the month of June. Anybody who puts in hours of volunteer work at Orange Gate can certainly text me, email me, or give me a phone call. Let me know what your hours were, what days, what times, and how many hours. And I can include that on the next month's report. But I do report that monthly to a contact person in Pierce County Parks.
Okay.
Larry, does that only for Orange Gate, or does that can also include Lidford?
I write at the top Orange Gate Park, but I could put a slash and put Lidford Field as well.
I just saw on Facebook someone was saying thank you for the person that went out and started cleaning up Lidford Park today. So
Hmm.
I just saw that on Facebook today. So you guys that aren't on Facebook, which is 2/3 of us here, so probably should hop on Facebook. Just another push,
Okay.
just to check it out. You can block everything else out. Just go to our channel, and you can keep up with just the community.
Yeah, my wife has a Facebook page, so I suppose I should have one. Of course, she doesn't use it much, but
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, just come on. I'm trying to get a little
Question?
more light on me. Yeah.
Hey, Larry, Don Brunson told you to not have contact with potential violators. Is Don Brunson having difficulties out there?
no, he's been told by somebody in the sheriff's department that you should not confront anybody or go up and have a conversation where you would tell people that what they're doing is illegal.
Because of the environment today, the violence and so forth, or because they're not authorized to say that?
That would be because of the uptick in violence these days.
Yeah, I would support such a caution on that. I think it's very, very risky to approach anybody out there for anything these days with regard to that. Just thank you, Larry, for cleaning up the garbage. But I hate to see you get hurt out there. So I would just not, I wouldn't approach anybody. Just clean up the garbage and count your hours. I'm sorry, it's,
Yeah. My wife, I said, well, I'm gonna go out. It's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go out and see what's going on and see if there's any fires that are started, see if there's anybody doing illegal fireworks. And she said, you're not going unless I go with you. And of course, once in the car, she doesn't want me to stop for anything.
yeah, Larry, your wife's got an instinct there. It's not safe to be out there. In my household, the doors are locked at 10 o'clock. You know, I mean, after 10 o'clock, you know, in going towards 12, anywhere in this society today, you're running into potential risk.
Yeah, well, you know, you're right, Dan, because almost every time I am out picking up garbage, I will find, unfortunately, I will find shell casings on the shoulder of the road. And my number one item that I pick up is cigarette butts. And whenever I go on a trail into the woods, I always find cigarette butts on trails in the woods,
Yeah,
always.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's good advice from the sheriff.
Well, I guess in regard to the illegal fireworks, I could maybe approach Marty's office asking, you know, if they know what's going on. But I think part of the problem is we've got a sheriff under investigation and potentially kind of a rudderless ship right now with the sheriff's department. So, you know, hopefully we can start working on it to where we can get something better set up in regard to our county ordinances in the future.
I think the police these days, not that Pierce County is getting defunded or any of that nonsense, but I think there's kind of an attitude today that the police are reluctant to engage the citizens unless it's something really important. And fireworks are important, of course, but I think it's probably below the threshold where they really want to go out and get aggressive with people one-on-one. I mean, police are getting assaulted these days and worse. Last night, well, the 4th of July, I expect some noise and I plan for it. But last night, the day after 4th of July, I don't know who's doing it. I think it's maybe the Puyallup tribe shooting off their residual storage of fireworks, but they were having explosions coming from either Emerald Queen or the Tide Flats going on until 4:30 in the morning, nonstop. And
Yeah, I could hear it from where I live.
where's it coming from, Bob?
It sounded to me like it was coming from the Emerald Queen direction.
Oh,
But
seriously.
I don't know. And it sounded like big
Sure it
stuff.
was. But from my standpoint, I live over here, of course. You
Yeah.
live over there. It sounded like it was coming from like the Emerald Queen. And I think
Yeah.
the Phelps had some kind of a thing down in the Tide Flats where they had a area where they could shoot fireworks safely. I mean, I think what happened, they must have maybe some rule within their tribe that, hey, you can sell all these fireworks, but after the 4th of July, you got to get rid of them. I'm just guessing, okay? Because last night it sounded like World War IV. I mean, they were just going, it was nonstop till 4:30. I couldn't sleep.
Yep.
Their fireworks alley was down at the old boat. That's where the majority of sales were.
Where?
At the old boat, the Emerald Queen, the riverboat,
Oh, yeah?
that's where fireworks alley was this year.
That's where they were shooting them from?
I believe so. That's where the main sales force was this year.
Oh, because I'm just guessing they had a whole bunch left over and they had to get rid of them real quick because it was going off thousands of shots. I mean, just
Yeah, I know.
crazy.
I heard it. One question, when the council voted for the fireworks display, did anybody pick up where the vote was by council member? I never saw that in print.
Was that in regard to how they voted as far as banning fireworks in the county?
Yes.
That was a straight party line. So you had
Yep.
Morrell, you had the woman who I think has the very far out section of the
The one who
county.
took over from McCune.
Yeah. And then Zeiger, they all voted against it. And the problem with this was that it would have required a supermajority vote.
Yeah, they
And so
need
even-
one more vote.
Yeah. So even though they had a majority,
Yeah.
they needed one more vote to pass it.
Okay, so our councilman voted for it.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Okay.
Yeah, I have
All
one
right.
more thing about Orange Gate.
Yeah.
You know, around Orange Gate, there's an ordinance and signage that says that you can't park there after 10 PM until 5 AM.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that there are people there, when I've been out driving around after 10 PM, there's people that are still parked there. And Don Brunson has driven by there after 10 PM and has seen some sheriff deputies going eastbound on, a couple of times, going eastbound on 84th to Canyon Road. After 10 PM, there are people parked along the street. And they just drive right on by and don't stop and at least encourage people to leave, which again falls into that category of lack of enforcement, which I think is the number one thing that irritates most citizens in Pierce County is the lack of enforcement on basic laws. So again, the signage around Orange Gate is being ignored by our law enforcement people. And I think I'm going to give the Parks Department a call tomorrow, encourage them to get in touch with Pierce County Sheriff's Department and insist that they, when they're driving along 84th Street after 10 PM, that they get people moving out of there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you, Larry. The next item on the agenda, which was the utility box wrap, I was thinking Angela would be with us tonight to discuss that with us, since that's her thing. What I want to do is try to set up a process that we might go through as far as what we want to do for getting some community input on it, some design ideas, just find out what all needs to happen to see this through to the end so that we can get those wraps taken care of. So I think I will postpone that till next month.
She's
Hey,
here.
I've got a question.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know you were moving on to that, but regarding Orange Gate Park and not necessarily the master plan, but I wanted to ask Larry, has the Conservation Corps gone in and made freeways out of any more of the trails?
they're done there.
Not that. I don't think they've done any more than what you probably saw the last time you were in there, Don.
Okay, that's good.
So Bob,
Actu-
Angela is here. She's
Yeah,
trying to fix her mic.
yeah, I just saw that because when I took a look at the gallery view earlier, I didn't, okay, now she's there. I got to look at it in Brady Bunch view.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Sorry. I don't know why my headset's not working.
Huh.
Anyway, I haven't heard anything from Marty
Mhm.
about the utility box wrap. Of course, with Mark's retirement, I'm guessing, I was thinking I was going to re-forward the emails and include Chelsea Talbert, who's his assistant now, on it, and see if we can't get some traction. So
Mhm.
I've got my
Chelsea.
email open as we speak, so I'll start drafting that email.
Okay. So is there
Angela,
anything that we can be doing right now, or is it more just getting some feedback from them first?
I think it's just getting their attention on it.
Okay.
We already gave them a suggestion of intersections with the type of artwork we wanted to see. And we also mentioned the retaining wall along Pioneer Avenue at the Gay Road curve. So with those all I can do is just keep poking and poking and poking and poking and poking. So
Okay.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Angela,
Yeah,
quick question. Chelsea Talbert is now working as Marty Campbell's assistant.
that is correct.
So she's left Amara and is now working for Pierce County.
That is correct.
All right, a real nice gal.
Mhm.
Okay, so next time on, there's League of Women Voters Forum. I need to try again to get a hold of them, find out just which positions they're going to hold a forum for as far as, who's running, who we're going to be voting on. And then we can get something up on the website
Mhm.
asking for suggestions of what would you like to find out from people? Or what sort of questions would you like? I'll get this out. What sort of questions would you like asked of the candidates? So then the parcel down at the south end of Canyon Road before 512 development is a repair shop. I was by there. Well, I've been by there a couple of times. I haven't seen anything over there. There were some trailers and other items in there earlier. Dawn, have you seen much going on there?
Yeah, about a week after our last meeting, I believe the state put a chain link fence on Canyon Road with no gate. Somebody did it, and I'm sure it wasn't the owner. Everything has been evacuated. It's an empty lot with a chain link fence on it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I'll back that up. I was right next to that parcel today. I distributed some Waller Community Association newsletters to that store and the businesses right in there today. And Dawn is correct. There is a chain link fence that now blocks anyone coming in from that residential driveway, the old
Wow.
residential driveway. So you can't get in there that way. And there is I would say a working container-like building that has been put there.
Mhm.
It's an office structure.
Just a construction shack?
Yeah, yeah. And it does not appear that there's any other access egress around the perimeter of the site.
Okay.
Isn't the owner of that property trying to buy the rest of the property up to 106?
That could only be rumored and speculation.
Yeah, okay. And of course, the car wash has been demoed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we'll have to keep watching that, and let's see. Yeah, the link that I put in the meeting agenda will go to what they've been up to so far with the county as far as permit requests and such. And welcome, Jen. Oh, are you finished with your dinner?
No.
Oh, okay.
Skipping dinner,
Okay.
but
We didn't see your face, so I thought maybe you were having dinner.
oh, well, if you don't see my face, I will be having dinner.
Okay. All right, a couple of new business items. One, I did put a link in the agenda for something that I saw as part of the council, one of their committees. There's a report from code enforcement and the sheriff's department regarding coordinating with the county commission's public safety committee, reporting on what they've been doing with nuisance properties, and in particular, how the sheriff's department has been supporting the county building planning, whoever takes care of nuisance properties, escorting them out when they're doing inspections and such. And I was wondering, are there any properties that we maybe need to identify that we could sort of poke the county about? I know there's one not far from you, Angela. Is that still a problem?
Which one are you talking about?
There was one that had a lot of cars and they thought maybe there's like a bit of a chop shop going
Oh,
on
yeah.
there.
That's directly behind me. Things have quieted down quite a bit. Substantially. So less cars, less traffic, less noise, less people, less foot traffic, less everything. So, and I'm not sure what prompted that change. I do know the owner's daughter now lives there, so that may have prompted some change, but I haven't heard from Don Brunson lately, so I know that it's, it's been better. So they do have they do have an occupied RV, and then they had some wetland buffer clearing stuff that has been turned into the county, but I don't know that much action's been taken lately, so.
Okay. Has anybody ever heard anything lately about that one property that was up across the street from the farm, that old gas station? There were some problems
Oh.
there. Is that pretty much
Yeah,
quiet now?
It's quiet, but it's starting to get a little ratty again, and I'll have to talk with Don Brunson about what's going on there.
Okay. And if you took a look at, oh, Don?
Oh, yeah. There was 6 months ago, there was talk about that. It's down between Vickery and Waller. The guy that had semi-trailers parked in his yard, I think that was that on 96 or 104th? Angela knows. Maybe.
96.
Yeah, it's still active.
Yeah, unfortunately, when I talked to code enforcement about that one's a tough one. Basically, the owner was giving the finger to the county saying, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. And there's only so much enforcement the county had on that one. Unfortunately. So it doesn't look like it's an active case anymore on their, on the code enforcement website.
Yeah, I was just curious. There's worse things to be considering than that issue.
Yeah, it looks like they closed the case. Like, give me just 1 second. Yeah, the county basically exercised all of the, actions that they had available to them. And then it looks like they closed the case. Unfortunately, for that specific one you're talking about, they're at 3325 96th Street East.
Okay.
I'll tell you about Waller Road here in just a second. Waller and 96.
While she's looking that up,
Yeah.
the link on there does not work.
Really? Okay. I'll have to resend that then.
Both cases, both code enforcement complaints on the gas station, the old gas station at 96 and Waller have also been closed. The last one is like 2018, and this one was, yeah, there hasn't been anything since 2018 on that particular property. So if we want to see some changes there, we will have to, or someone will have to provide a code complaint.
I've got another one. It's not necessarily nuisance properties, but I'm sure that y'all can come up with similar scenarios. And mine is that if one travels north on Canyon down to 76, where the Hot Rod Smoke Shop and the Union 76 Station, the coffee shop, you all know it. But if you're trying to make a right-hand turn onto 72nd going down the hill, and you look to your left at oncoming traffic, there is trees right out to the edge of the road on county property. And I think that's a safety hazard. Even if you got your red light, you should be able to see oncoming traffic cross your path, whether you're going straight down Canyon. Even if you got a green light, how do you know that the cars that are coming are going to stop before you proceed? And y'all can come up with intersections around your own neighborhood where that's the case.
Most of the intersections on Vickery. But,
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's a safety issue that perhaps as an organization, we should be looking at and identifying and reporting them for compliance, because I believe there is a rule of line of sight, of no vegetation on corners.
well, here's something though. The county this summer is supposed to start the work on widening Canyon from where they just finished on 84th down, just down the hill a little bit through the intersection 72nd.
Yep.
So we'll have to see where the stakes are, and that might be coming out.
Okay,
But Don,
might
Don's
be in the
gonna,
meantime.
but Don's got a good point. For example, on 112th at Vickery, there was a homeowner who planted a bunch of shrubs, and they were essentially kind of blocking the view. Now they have a fence put up, which also blocks the view. And then there's a shrub, you know, a kitty corner from that, whatever. A couple of years ago, one of my coworkers actually called some people in the roads division and complained about these shrubs going in and said, well, you know, it's blocking the line of sight, et cetera, et cetera. And they said, well, because there is a signalized intersection, you can, it's not that big of a deal. If it were an uncontrolled intersection, or it was only a light or a stop sign at, you know, one direction, that would be a bigger problem. But because it's a fully signalized intersection, they basically kind of just blew her off. And because you have to stop at the light if it's red, and you know, anyway, so I'm guessing, Don, they're going to say something similar for like your example at 72nd Canyon. They're going to say, well, because there's a light there, people should be stopping and be checking before they turn. You're not just randomly pulling out. So just something to think about.
I think I'll send an email, personal email to the manager of the Canyon Road Project. I can't say her name and I know it.
Well, and I'm with you on not being able to see because, well, I live just down the hill from that. So I'm taking that right a lot. Or whenever I need gas for my mower, I'm walking up there to get gas, and it makes me really nervous that somebody's going to take a right there going south on Canyon and take me out. Because people
Are you talking about the trees that are on the coffee shop corner?
No, the gas station,
it's like a bush, a big hedge.
Mhm.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and you just can't see. Same thing if you're sitting, like Don said, sitting waiting to take a right, even though people coming through the intersection are supposed to be in the left-hand lane because the right-hand lane's a right-hand turn only, it can still be dicey because you just can't see what somebody might do that isn't particularly smart.
Has anybody talked to the gas station employees to pass that along to the owner of the gas station?
Well, it sounds like, Don, you're going to try to contact them?
No, I will not make contact with the station owner, but I'll send a email to, come on, help me, what's her name?
Tiffany Odell?
No, she's
Oh.
Parks.
Letitia.
Letitia Neal.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had dealings with her before with two issues, mailboxes and curbing so high that we couldn't get cars out of the driveway. So she knows who I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
So who
Yeah.
do you call to complain about these sorts of problems? Because I have another one that I've noticed.
Well, it used to be Pierce County Responds, and that's what I've got stuck in my head. And Larry, it's something else now. What was that?
So if you have a road maintenance issue,
Okay,
if you have a question about like potholes, a plugged culvert, trash in the roadway, driveway problems, whatnot. If you go to, if you just type in Pierce County roads, one of the main boxes on Planning and Public Works roads is report a road maintenance issue. And you click on that and you put your name, your phone number, the address of, if you have the address of which, the cross streets of where the problem is, and then what the problem is, and if you'd like to be contacted, you can submit the form.
thank you.
You can also call 253-798-6000.
6,000.
All right.
I'm trying to look because I called that road number this morning myself. There was a rather large raccoon that met his maker right in front of one of our driveways.
Mm.
And yeah, I called the road crew and they were going to come by and pick it up. And I just went and got a big plastic bag and a shovel and disposed of it myself. But I did get a live person and I was trying to look through my phone and see who I called.
Dead animals is not on the drop-down menu. Oh wait, it is. It says dead animal right here. Yeah, you could do that. Anything from drainage cleaning, erosion, flooding, graffiti, a storm grate missing, guardrail, litter, garbage. I mean, objects in right of way.
Don't expect a timely response.
Well, no, but if you call the
Yes.
number or fill out the form, it goes on the list, they get to it, it gets prioritized, so.
So Dawn, are you going to put together a raccoon skin hat?
No, I quit that when I used to buy beaver skins from Seattle Fur when I was working in the Eskimo village of Barrow, and I sew beaver skin hats and sell them to the Eskimos.
I believe it.
Yeah, and they're waterproof too.
Yeah, no,
So-
I'm not a fur collector.
A question
I
about
see.
boundaries, Pioneer and South, is that all considered Pierce County? I'm talking specifically between like Waller and Canyon.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
there is a house that's kind of set back off of one of the creeks. It's like a cinder block house. It's just time is and the nature is really slowly reclaiming it. Do we know anything about that? It's between Waller and 44th Avenue.
Hmm.
Yeah, and if you're driving, I guess you'd be driving southeast on Pioneer. It'll be on the south side of the road, and it's just kind of tucked in there and behind things. Let me see if I can find it on maps, but it's just I've often wondered about it, and it just seems to that nothing happens there. I don't think it's nuisance as far as anything other than the fact it's just an old dilapidated house.
It's abandoned.
It's
yeah.
an
Squall-
abandoned house?
Yeah, it's a completely abandoned house. I don't even think even anybody could even live in it, but it's a Squally Creek area.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, you could report that.
I just wondered if we knew anything about that before I go through.
Gabe, do you know how to use the GIS mapping?
Yeah, I can take a look at that. I was just curious if
Yeah.
anybody knew of anything going on with it.
Okay,
Yeah, on Street View, it's completely covered up by trees right now, as far as the Street View that's active there. I've never seen anybody coming in or out, but it's really falling apart. But it's a full cinder block house with what looks like a metal roof on the top of it. But you know, it's been abandoned forever. So it's one of the first things I noticed about driving through here when I first moved in.
Hmm.
Just one of those places that something happened to the owner and then nothing happened after.
I believe that's the first time that that's come up in our conversations as a community association group.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't find a GIS information on it then.
Yeah, maybe a parcel search if you,
Yeah, if you can click on, click on it on Google Maps and get the address and then put it into the assessor's website. You can find out who owns it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious if anybody knew what was going on with it.
Wow. I'm just looking at the map myself, and there's just some development that's gone on that since I used to live there. Well, I used to live on 36, just east of Waller Road Elementary for about a dozen years up until 9. Well, no, oh gosh, longer than that. About 15 years ago. And some of the development that's gone on since has kind of taken me aback. But is it on the east or the west side of Waller?
The one I'm talking about,
Yeah.
it's a 3618 Pioneer.
Oh, Pioneer. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
it's
that's
in
right.
between
So-
44th and Waller. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
yeah, do a parcel search with that address and you'll get to see who the owner is.
I'm pulling it up right now.
That'd be with the
It's
assessor
it's
treasurer.
owned by an LLC.
Ah,
Yeah, LLC. Okay, well,
they don't care.
I'd file a complaint.
I don't know if it's complaint worthy. It's tucked way back there. It's just this weird building that, you know, the first time my wife looked at it, she just says it's about Random House. She's like, oh, that's definitely haunted.
Yeah, as long as there are no
Okay.
issues associated with the place, I guess we're good.
It might have been a potential old attempted development. It's 11.44 acres. It goes way back.
Hmm. Yeah, it could be.
Okay. There isn't a bunch of trash around it.
No, it's tucked way back behind the road. You can barely see it through the trees. If you have to actually know it's there. But when all the leaves fall off, you can see it pretty good. But it's
Uh-huh.
green moss covered house. It's definitely cinder block and standing all by itself.
Okay.
Probably driven by it 1,000 times and never realized it was there.
Yeah, it's pretty
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
pretty green, so it blends in pretty good back there.
Okay, well, it sounds like we pretty much got any of the problem properties covered. Sounds like things are nice and quiet right now. So move on to the last item that we have on here. Dan, you want to talk about your communication with Burlington Northern Santa Fe?
Sure. As you know, this Swan Creek Park, which extends from 64th to Pioneer Way, which is 400 acres. Then north of Pioneer Way, clear to River Road, there's a wildlife environmental area. Most of it's owned by the Port of Tacoma, which is an environmental mitigation area. City of Tacoma owns some, and then the Puyallup tribe owns a parcel. There's a little odd parcel in there that's kind of an expansion of the railroad right-of-way, which is owned by the Burlington Northern Santa Fe. And a few years ago, the whole area in there was inundated with encampments, if you will. And there was enforcement action. They all went away, but some of them seemed to go on to one parcel that wasn't being enforced, and that was the one with Burlington Northern Santa Fe. And I think you folks have all seen it. All I did was simply repeat what we said before and brought it to their attention, made a phone call. And any further action will be through telephone calls and coordination with them. Also, the city of Tacoma and the port have been carbon copied on that letter, and sent a map out that the port had sent to us, a color photo showing the whole area, including the Burlington Northern property. So I've talked to them, and they're concerned about it. You have to understand, the railroad police, as you know, they are the cops, the railroad cops is what they are. They only travel on this kind of a car that's on railroad wheels, and they go along the right of way that way. And they tell kids to get off the right of way. They told me when I was a kid to get off the right of way. They try to keep it clear, and they warn people to stay away because there's no fence along there. And it's a crime to actually be on that right of way. Well, that police unit, those agents, they can't see Pioneer Way very well. So the letter simply just shows them how to access the area on Pioneer Way, and we'll see what happens, okay? Now, I know you folks took some notes and wrote down some addresses. I'll give you another address to write down. One is Pioneer Way. The other one is 64th Street. And I will repeat this every time we get together. Call 311. Call 311, and that's the city of Tacoma. When you dial 311, they're right on it. They respond. They're eager to take your phone call. And you might just want to mention that on 64th Street, we have a lot of garbage dumping. And on Pioneer Way too. I think all of us have seen the Pioneer Way issue. And whenever we make those 311 calls in mass, as we have, they're out there within a week or so and clean it up. And I think it's something that needs to be done again. So I'll advise you as to what's going on with the letter, but anything further will be done either in person with the agent or via phone.
So, Dan, I have a question for you. Looking a little closer at the map, I know what homeless encampments you're talking about. And there is a little parcel that's owned by BNSF Railway. Then there's also one that's owned by the Port of Tacoma that are sandwiched between Pioneer and the railroad itself. Do we know which parcel the current encampments are on? Is it on Port of Tacoma or is it on BNSF?
Last
Or
year,
both? Or is it both?
well, last year I had a phone call with the gal. I think Larry, you might recall, they responded, the Port of Tacoma responded to our letter last year with a whole one-page letter.
Okay.
Larry received it, I believe, and he provided it to me. Attached to that was a detailed explanation and a map. And they made it they went out there, the Port of Tacoma went out there, and they actually did they reconnoitered the area, they looked at it, and they addressed it, and it was not on their property. It was strategically located off of their property on the railroad parcel. Probably the theory that, hey, it's not on the port property, nothing you can do about it.
Right.
There you go. Now, the railroad, the agent I talked to was very concerned about it. He was going to come out there actually last week. I said, well, you can wait till after the 4th to get my letter. And so they should be getting the letter today or tomorrow or by Thursday anyway. And see what happens.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Dan? Okay, hearing none. Is there anything else for the good of the order that anybody has?
Yeah, I have about 3 comments to make. Comment 1, Jen asked me if I would distribute extra newsletters to businesses in the Summit Waller area. And I have been slowly working on that. To date, I have covered everybody from 512 down to 72nd on Canyon Road. And I intend to go west on 72nd and then Waller Road here in the near future, passing out. And so far, everybody has been very happy to get a newsletter. Lots of thank yous. I tell them that we would appreciate their support. So I guess we'll see whether we have maybe some businesses that might fill out an a membership application. We'll just have to wait and see. But I will tell you that every single person I've handed a flyer to has been very nice, respectful, and always has thanked me for providing them with a newsletter. The second comment is, let's see, Don Massey, of course, the issue with Don on Canyon Road has been the Jake brake or compression brake signage, which was codified into an ordinance. But I think Don would back me up when I say that I haven't seen any signage, either northbound or southbound on Canyon Road as yet, with that non-use of compression brakes on Canyon Road from 512 to 72nd. And my third comment would be the one I forgot. So must be getting older.
The judicial branch.
Yeah, Larry, thanks for handing out those flyers, by the way.
You're welcome, Dan.
Yeah, I have a couple comments, if I may, please.
Sure.
On Canyon Rim Estates, we filed our petition with King County. The prosecutor made a motion to have it bounced back to Pierce County. I did not oppose that. I thought it was going to end up there. And I talked to the prosecutor's office today. The county has paid the necessary fees to have it refiled here in Pierce County. And I'm getting the transcript transcribed. That's in the process now. We're going to probably be into it for another $1,000 anyway. And Bob, you need to talk to your neighbors up there and get them on the ball. I've got some skin in the game myself, so that's fine. So that's what's going on with that. Sometimes I come into a case saying, well, we're not going to do very good, 50-50. I feel rather strong about this case. When you read the brief, you might also agree. I've been wrong before, and I've been right sometimes when I felt I would be wrong. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Canyon Rim Estates. It's moving forward, and I'll keep you advised as we go forward. The second issue has to do with the horse farm called Iron Horse Farm across from Faith Dairy. We took a position to support that. Wrote a 4-page letter to the county on that. Don had some major issues with that. I factored in all of his concerns and actually kind of reevaluated my position and did a little inquiry. It is not going to be an event center. It's going to be simply a place where people can come from throughout the county or anywhere and have their horse, stay where the horse would stay, and where they'll have access to Pipeline Road and potentially Orange Gate, just like High Point has the same access to those areas. The owner was very happy. They've purchased a number. They've spent $3 million there just buying land. And that's about 30 acres. And of course, on those properties, there's 2 houses, which caused the price to be probably, extra $1 million for those 2 houses. But anyway, they spent a lot of money. They're putting a lot of money into it. They've got a lot of financial backing. I've toured the place twice. The materials they're using are first class. If you go to High Point, and I was there with my wife just checking it out within the last several weeks, High Point it's okay. It's a nice place. But this place, Iron Gate on 72nd, is going to be really something else. So I'm glad we're supporting that.
I don't have a problem supporting either facility. I don't have any problem with their use of Orange Gate Park. I do have a problem that I have to pay a fee to take my dog to that park. they have free reign with no responsibility whatsoever, period.
How much is your fee, Don?
$10 for a license, an annual license for my pet on a leash.
Well, you have to pay that regardless of
I
whether,
don't care. It's Orange Gate Park. I pay to use Orange Gate Park. They pay nothing. That's my argument. Where's the equity in that when they cause more destruction to the trails and the ordinance says pick up after your pet. Well, it's not defined a horse, dog, cat, or an alligator. They don't pick it up. That's my beef.
yeah. Are you referring to your pet license tabs that we all pay?
Yeah,
Okay, I understand that that's kind of a,
to
Yeah,
me, it's not. To me, it's not.
no, I understand your point. And actually, I never thought about it that way. And I guess I have to agree with you. The host maybe should carry a gunny sack with them to clean up and maybe have a horse license, but that's another issue.
Well, we're in a position to make a change if it's supported by the majority. Hey, the questionnaire that the county sent out that you fill out the 200 question thing was in favor of dog parks more so than horse usage. So I guess if anything's going to change, it's got to start with a grassroots effort of getting the public involved in where is the equity on pet licenses versus free reign for the horse people.
Well, the problem you're going to have is domestic pets are one category. And when you're talking about horses, you're talking about livestock. You're talking about goats, cows, horses, llamas, whatever. And I think you'd have a hard time trying to get a license for a cow. And a cow and a horse are in the same category.
Well, I understand, but it's a use of my license. What does it govern? It governs where you can take your pet off leash. It puts certain parameters what you can't do more than what you can do.
Well, Don, let me cut to the chase here. Orange Gate is used for horses. That was the whole, for me personally, that was kind of my motivation back in the 80s when I was helping with Larry and a few other people, Dennis Young, to get the thing going. I used to ride horses in there for hundreds of hours with friends. It's going to be used by Iron Horse and currently by High Point quite extensively. Are you concerned, justifiably, that dogs are going to be squeezed out? I'm just asking.
Not necessarily, because if they don't govern it now for dogs off leash. They don't govern it for camps. They don't govern it for people smoking when they're hiking. There's no governance within the park at all, but actually it's not a park yet by definition. They're hoping it to be. What kind of governance will there be when it's built?
Well, here's my comment. Orange Gate is going to be used extensively for horseback riding. I see it to be 80% horseback riding. And my concern is the interface between dogs and horses. They don't mix very well. But I don't want to see dogs get squeezed out. I'm thinking that once this thing starts to really start getting traction and people start using Orange Gate for horse riding more and more over the years, we're going to have to revisit that whole thing and make sure that the horse riding is reasonable and it doesn't squeeze out the dog use, and that the dog use is in an area that doesn't kind of cause a conflict between dogs and horses, dogs biting horses and so forth.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you, but right now where the dog park is laid out on that north quadrant is totally the wrong place for a dog park. a wooded forest is not what a dog wants to play in. There's no sight lines. That whole meadow below the apartments, up on the upper side of the hill on the west side, south of Canyon, there's a whole meadow up there of about 8 acres that could be fenced and mowed and be an ideal dog park, but they're going to put it in the woods where there's no chance for a dog to play.
I think we need to revisit that whole issue with the county. What the
Yes.
county did is they put the dogs here, the horses here, without really having, pragmatic experience. I mean, they haven't really had a test run to see
Well,
how.
that's why I keep asking Tiffany to let me be part of the ultimate planning on where it's going to go and how it's going to be structured.
I think time will tell. We're gonna have to.
Okay, I hope
That
so.
upper area for the trailhead parking. I thought that was designated as a trailhead parking.
I think it's west of that towards the
It's-
Rainier Vista Apartments. There's a
Yes.
big upper area there that
Yes,
That's what
It's
Don's
pretty
talking
flat.
about that's what they're using for it, probably because it's out of the lower lying areas, which could be more subject to flooding and water damage. And I think that's why they're doing the
a lot of
parking as
times persistence can pay off. I would encourage Don to continue to email the Parks Department about his involvement in replacing where would be best to have a dog's park. And in regard to High Point Equestrian, in my dealings with park officials, I have numerous times pointed out that High Point Equestrian Center has direct access into Orange Gate Park. They advertise it on their website, and the Parks Department I've suggested that they charge High Point Equestrian a franchise fee for that access. However, the Parks Department at this time has made decisions that they're not going to do that. Now, it could be lack of enforcement. If you're supposed to pick up after yourself, who's out there enforcing that? I mean, there's dog feces throughout the park that people haven't picked up. There's human feces in the park that humans haven't picked up. And who's out there enforcing that? No one. So it's all on the honor system. It's park users maintain and enforce. The rules are enforced by park users. There are people out there picking up litter throughout the park. As far as the horse dung is concerned, horse manure, again, that's up to the park users on horses to do that. And if they don't, where's the enforcement? Well, it's not there. And as far as High Point Equestrian is concerned, and any other, they could deal with Iron Gate too. If a lot of people from this new Iron Gate thing are going to be using the park, should they be required to have some sort of fee if you're on horseback to be in the park? Maybe those decisions are going to need to wait until more development within the park occurs in the next couple of years.
We had a similar experience over at Swan Creek. For a long time, for decades, nobody really knew what the use of it was going to be. And over time, it has evolved into being a bicycle mountain biking area. Evergreen Mountain Biking Association has kind of taken over the area, and it's used for that extensively. They have done a lot of really good work out there, maintaining trails, cleaning up some encampments, thinning out some of the brush, and really made some improvements in the area. If you want to see something really cool, go to YouTube and keyword Swan Creek Park. 90% of what you'll see is the bicycle people with their little Go cameras. They have these little cameras on their helmets. And you'll see them riding through the woods. It's quite interesting. I've done it myself. So that's just an example of how over a period of time, a open area like Orange Gate or Swan Creek will end up being used for some predominant use. Swan Creek is mostly used for mountain biking. And there's quite a large area for dogs. And then there's also a community garden area too. Those are the three main uses of that area. And so
Well,
it's,
and then there's the hiking trail that goes up the canyon.
how's that?
Then there's a hiking trail that goes up the canyon.
Yes, well, I'm talking about the upland area. The hiking trail is probably my favorite area for the summer. That's used only for hiking, and people run their dogs up and down that too. And anyway, as far as Orange Gate goes, I see that being used for horses and for dogs. I don't see much else. I don't see any athletic fields. I don't see it being used, well, it may be used for some bicycle use, which is appropriate. I think. But dogs and horses, I think that's where Orange Gate's going. Having been involved with that for many years and having used it myself, I highly support that use. I mean, they were going to make, a golf course out of it. That wouldn't have been very good, in my opinion. And, the real separator, if you look at it, as the horse areas in the urbanizing areas of Pierce County get shut down and developed out, a lot of these are moving to the real separator. And I'm not talking about Iron Horse or High Point. I'm talking about these little smaller ones. If you drive up and down Vickery Avenue and you look to your left or right, every other lot seems to have a horse on it. This is really becoming kind of an area where people like to have a horse. And if they want a horse, they move to an area like this. And then you got Pipeline Road, Pipeline Trail. How wide is that? 100 feet wide? How wide is Pipeline? Does anybody know? 50 feet?
Certainly not the right of way.
How wide is the right of way? I'm talking about the whole trail, the whole trail. It's
Well, I
more,
think probably close to 80 feet, at least 60.
yeah, it's pretty wide. And even though the trail is only on that road area, you have the grass on either side. I think you're going to see people using that for dogs, and they are right now, and also horses. So that's kind of where I see the trajectory of this whole thing going for Orange Gate, horses and dogs.
I think you're right.
Well, we'll see. Anything else we need to cover? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Don moved. Do we have a second? Jen
I
second.
second.
All in favor?
All right.
I
Aye.
See
Okay,
you folks later.
we are adjourned.
Good night.
See you all in August.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Hey, Angela, if you